Welcome back to the W number. Sorry, my throat's a little messed up. I've been sick for the last few days, but I'm back in action. So, advocate, we have a wild show for you tonight. 5 major topics. The first, we're going to hear from the prisoners' legal services. Advocates say that officials have been warned over the last several months about deteriorating conditions and violence within the prison system as they've been monitoring complaints coming out of that prison from inmates against the officials and the DOC staff members and just how they're running the facility, just overall deteriorating conditions, right? Then the DOC fires back, shooting off a list of names and charges against the individuals involved, right? Then there's a huge white supremacist gang takedown with 68 individuals on an indictment for RICO, racketeering, and just a crazy detailed report about what's going on with inside the gang, and just, you know, it's just craziness. On October 2nd, this happened, right? 68 people have been taken down, a white supremacist gang connected to the Mexican mafia inside the prison system. It's just, it's madness, bro. Just the information they have from within inside that gang, there must be informants involved. Then there's a huge cover up, hundreds of thousands of dead bodies washing up, but the government is covering up these things, these allegations, right? They're saying they're sending helicopters in and all these different things to take care of FEMA, all that, right? But it's a giant lie, dude, right? There's so many things going on right now. I'm just getting over a sickness, so bear with me if I lose my breath and cough and maybe throw up on my computer, right? But I'm going to get right to it, dude. No music tonight because we got a lot to discuss, right? I'm going to read some reports to you, and we're going to go over the information. It's extremely sensitive information, so inside reports, things that nobody else really has seen yet. These are all brand new reports. All right. So advocates say Souza prison was deteriorating before the violence. Advocates say, hold on, let me make sure this is, let me put this up real quick so you guys can see it. All right. Advocates say they're not surprised that violence erupted at the Souza-Baranowski Correctional Center last week because they've been monitoring complaints about conditions inside the maximum security prison for months. Massachusetts Department of Corrections officials have told the Corrections Officers Union that it's taken steps to improve safety at the prison and conducting daily searches for contraband. Like, how long does it take to do searches for contraband, right? It's been weeks now, right? Prisoners' Legal Services of Massachusetts staffers visited the prison in August because the advocacy group received a high number of complaints about alleged mistreatment and excessive use of force by corrections officers. This is before this all happened, right? A 2020 lawsuit, I was involved in this lawsuit, right, filed by the group over violence at Souza-Baranowski is still pending. The major issue at the Souza-Baranowski Correctional Center relates to long-standing issues around draconian conditions of confinement that have only gotten worse with time, said Jesse White, Policy Director for Prisoners' Legal Services of Massachusetts. White said her group received 32 excessive force complaints from men held at Souza in August and September, as well as reports of deteriorating conditions at the facility. When staff visited last month, she said the prisoners they interviewed complained about several issues, including more restrictions on out-of-cell time, a lack of programming and education, unenforced body camera policies, and arbitrary disciplinary infractions, which she said, coupled with a culture of punishment, contribute to a culture of violence at the prison system. The prison holding about 1,000 men and located on the Shirley/Lancaster line remains locked down after 5 corrections officers were hurt in last week's attack, right? They're still locked down. Mind you, that means they get out for showers maybe every other day. And their cells are still getting searched by officers. Why, I have no idea how long this should take, but it usually doesn't take that long coming from somebody who's been there. It doesn't take that long to do a shakedown. So now it's just about punishment. The Massachusetts Correction Officer Federated Union released a video showing prisoners attacking officers inside a general population unit at Souza-Baranowski on September 18th. Union leaders said one of the officers was stabbed a dozen times and had to be hospitalized. 4 other officers who tried to intervene were treated for injuries. The State Department of Corrections said the unidentified officer has been released from the hospital. The prisoners involved were transferred to other correctional facilities. The Worcester County District Attorney Office said an investigation is ongoing. The union has asked for security assessment and a review of all security-related policies, procedures, and protocols inside the Massachusetts prisons in order to ensure the safety of every staff member and inmate. Bullshit, right? We have been warning the DOC of something like this. The union's executive board said in a statement, change has to come, and it has to come swiftly. You're damn right about that. Although the prison has been locked down since the attack, prisoners are now permitted to use phones, access email, and consult with attorneys. Outside visits are not permitted, so that means your family members can't come to see you, but only attorneys. Outside visits are not permitted, and some of the men held there and their families say much of their movement remains restricted, with 6 prisoners allowed out of their cells at a time for 15 minutes twice a day. So that means they get 15-minute segments, right? So 6, that means 3 cells because cells are doubled up. So 3 cells at a time out of 72 cells, right? So that takes forever. That means the whole day. And some people aren't getting their rec at the end of the night. You can guarantee that because people don't lock in right away and on time. They're always, running around doing shit. The cops are like, get in your cell, lock in. And, they're obviously taking rec away from their fellow convicts, which is something that I always hated when I was in there. A man incarcerated at Souza who said he witnessed the attack told WBUR there have been hostilities between some officers in the prison for quite some time. Charles Diorio, who has been incarcerated at Souza for about a decade, said some of the officers refused prisoners' requests for services such as medical and mental health assistance, yard and recreation, and visits to the library, creating what he called a tinderbox. Diorio also said he filed a grievance which was denied, alleging that some of the officers deliberately mistreat the men and taunt them with slurs, which is something that I've said from the beginning, and which is why that big fight in 2020 or whatever that was, 2020, when the 3 cops got jumped by the so-called Latin Kings, which was just a mixed mash of Spanish guys. They did it over a racial slur, which was unknown to the public because they did not get that out there. That's something that they kept completely hidden from the public. And like I said, these things don't happen for no reason. Diorio disputed the Correctional Officers Union claim that the prisoners' computer tablets have been turned into makeshift weapons, which is something that we all dispute, which may have been used in last week's attack. Diorio said the tablets are inspected weekly by prison staff and are too valuable to prisoners because they allow them to email, make phone calls, and access programs, right? And now let me clear that up. So the programs are available on these tablets. You go on your tablet and you got TED Talks and you got things like, Real Vita TV, which is just a Christian podcast. You got things that help people get education, reading services, language services. Everything is on there, right? So anything you could learn, all the programs that they offer now are all on the tablets. So if they took them away, they would be taking away their only accessible means to any educational programs, right? Diorio has filed suit against Souza staffers alleging that he has been denied the ability to store some of his property at the prison. In a letter to the Corrections Officers Union Wednesday, Interim Department of Corrections Commissioner Sean Jenkins said a special operations team has been deployed to Souza to conduct multiple targeted searches of problematic units, right? Well, I feel like the problematic units, the people that were involved in this are already gone. So now it just comes down to punishing the people that they feel deserve it the most. So what, people of the same skin color? I'm not getting that. I don't get it, right? The letter also said the department will increase. And also, before I go further, I got a list of the names and a list of the charges of the people who are involved. The letter also said the department will increase staff training in self-defense and de-escalation techniques and question the extent to which prisoners' computer tablets may be misused. He wrote that the prisoners' tablets strengthen the department's delivery of meaningful programs to advance rehabilitation and support successful reentry, which is a very minor, petty way to do this, right? It's a lazy way to do it. They don't have to employ staff to deliver directly to them, face-to-face, meaningful programs, which could actually show someone like myself, who's a very hands-on learner, how to do things in order to be successful in society, like start a checking account and things like that, which is also what you find on the tablet, right? The recent assaults on correctional officers are deeply troubling and underscore the urgent need for proactive, collaborative, and strategic approach to addressing safety concerns. Jenkins' letter said, in response, the union wrote to the department that Jenkins' letters is inadequate, right? And there needs to be more urgency. Allegations of retaliation and violence by prison staff are not new at Souza and have resulted in several lawsuits. The state recently settled a civil suit from 2 prisoners who said they were brutally abused by special Special tactical officers sent in to search the facility after 3 correctional officers were hurt in an attack in January 2020. The settlement amount was not disclosed. It's never disclosed. They write agreements before they file these lawsuits. Prisoners Legal Services of Massachusetts has filed a class action suit alleging that dozens of prisoners were mistreated and abused by the special tactical teams of officers called in after the 2020 attack, which is something that I was a victim of. They came straight to my cell, told me to cuff up for no reason, said I was going on an accountability status, which means they're taking away all my stuff, and I was already in segregation. And they did this in retaliation for the assault that my brother committed against the correctional officers, which was literally weeks prior to this. And we had a massive lockdown and shakedown due to that situation, which is something that they forced my brother to the brink of insanity. And he, a person who is not prone to things like this, ended up snapping and having a situation like this in which the judge reprimanded the DOC, saying that they cannot torture people and expect for these things not to happen, and that is a real life scenario. So let me keep reading. Those conditions have not always been followed, according to attorney Rebecca Jacobstein with the State Public Defender Agency, the Committee for Public Counsel Services, which also has been monitoring the conditions. Jacobstein said, attorney visits and phone calls have not been a problem, but an institutional culture of punishment remains, as well as lingering tensions over the 2020 violence. They're still holding grudges over that, right? Even though they came through with a vengeance and destroyed many people's, lives, basically, really. It's traumatic. It was traumatic. It really was. And I'm saying that from somebody who has a high tolerance to trauma and does not easily say I was traumatized. But the way that happened really made me believe that that took away my ability to like reason with myself, that I had some sense of control in some way to prevent myself from being killed and not have any type of retaliation for it per the state or any type of protection from these COs. They had no restraints on them. They walked through that place and were pistol whipping people, made people kneel for 8 hours on their knees in their underwear, sometimes naked. And if you said anything, leaned back on your feet, did anything, you were going to get dragged into the lawyers' rooms where they do the lawyers' visits and viciously beaten, and then dragged back out with a bloody face, broken jaw, broken ribs, or whatever it was that you had. And that was not uncommon. There's many people with this situation that happened. They did that in the gym and in the visiting room. So they had mad people on their knees, right? They got their jollies off with that one, right? Definitely got the retaliation. And why they still hold grudges, who knows, right? Because only 22 people were involved, but so many more. 133 complaints came out of there at that time of legitimate complaints. And there was more than that of ones that they couldn't validate, but there was 103 validated legitimate complaints, right? In 2002, defrocked Catholic, even before 2020, Souza was known for violence. Former Patriots player Aaron Hernandez committed suicide at the prison in 2017, highlighting the problem of drug use within the prison. In 2002, defrocked Catholic priest John Gay, convicted of sexually abusing children, was killed, one for the good guys, by another prison at Souza-Baranowski. The facility is named after correction officers James Souza and Alfred Baranowski, who were fatally shot by a prisoner in 1972. That happened in the Shirley Medium facility, I think. And a woman's wife or a man's wife brought in a gun to the man and to try to escape. And he shot Officer Souza and Officer Baranowski in his pursuit, but he ended up getting killed and not making it out of there alive. Violence has been a persistent issue there since it opened, said Jesse White of Prisoners Legal Services. It's definitely time to do something different at the prison. And certainly what we need to do is not make conditions worse than they already are. That's a fact, right? Jesse White is the president of Prisoners Legal Services, and she does tons of good things for the prisoners in the max, right? So now let's hear from the DOC who fired shots right back, listing names and charges, right? Let me make sure that this is being shared. Yes, it is. All right. Now, instead of looking at a Range Rover, let's look at the actual report. Okay, no, not the one. Oh, yeah, it is. All right. So, Lancaster, Mass. 3 inmates will face charges in connection with a violent attack on correctional officers at the Souza-Baranowski Correctional Center earlier this month. The Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security announced Saturday. The assault, which happened around 6:20 p.m., sent 5 officers to the hospital, including one who was repeatedly stabbed about 12 times. Well, I'd say that's repeatedly. The 3 inmates are charged as follows. Jose R. Crespo, 39, is charged with mayhem, armed assault to murder, and assault to murder. Herberto Rivera Negron, 36, is charged with mayhem, armed assault to murder, and assault to murder. Jeffrey Tapia, 30, is charged with mayhem, armed assault to murder, and assault to murder. The stunning footage shows inmates swinging at the head of the unsuspecting officer moments later. I'm not going to play the video because we've already seen it. The scuffle continues for about a minute until other officers arrive. According to officials, 2 correctional officers were stabbed multiple times by the incarcerated individuals, and 3 additional correctional officers were injured responding to the assault. Attacks against our officers will not be tolerated, and the serious charges filed against the 3 individuals demonstrates that the Massachusetts Department of Correction will take action, Interim Department of Corrections Commissioner Sean Jenkins said Saturday. That means the person acting as department commissioner at the time. He's interim, so he's not going to be forever, but hopefully they come out with one that's going to be more permanent so that we could shoot letters of advocacy at him. And maybe shout out to Prisoner Legal Services, who is our main advocates for the prisoners and people who are in the prison, and any complaints will go to them, right? Our attacks, according to officials, 2 correctional officers were stabbed multiple times, incarcerated individuals, and 3 additional correctional officers were injured responding to the assault. Attacks against our officers will not be tolerated, and serious charges filed against 3 individuals demonstrates that the Massachusetts Department of Correction will take action. Of course they will. They're taking action right now. Is that not enough? Interim Department of Corrections Commissioner Sean Jenkins said Saturday, this type of violence is unacceptable, and now those involved will be held accountable in the court of law. We have and we will continue to make the safety and health of our correctional officers a priority and appreciate their dedication to the Department of Corrections and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Our investigators worked tirelessly since the incident occurred to bring these charges forward. I feel like the Department of Corrections puts the priority of the officers way over the priority of the safety of the convicts in the prison, which, they should have them as a priority, but they also should have as a very high priority safety within the prison as a whole. If everybody's safe, period, right? A spokesperson for the Massachusetts Correctional Officers Federated Union thanked the Worcester District Attorney's Office for the investigation and asked the Department of Corrections to up security measures. Of course they did, right? We demand the DOC take action to make the prisons more secure. They can't be any more secure unless we had shot callers. By clearing out the deadly weapons and drugs that are too prevalent in our system. The union's statement read, our focus remains on the safety of everyone in the prison, to include our brothers and sisters of the MCFOU or MCOFU, right? Let me just say a little bit about the drugs and stuff that they have in the prison. They like it when the drugs are rampant in the prison because prisoners are quiet when the place is flooded, right? For whatever reason, when it dries up, that's when the mayhem starts. And they know that. And so that's a contributing factor. It's just a fact. It's not something that I'm saying needs to be taken action, nothing like that. I'm just saying that is an aspect of it, that when it clears up, there is more violence. So maybe the fluctuation, I don't know, right? But when it is dry for a good amount of time, it stays violent. When it's wet, it is what it is. Crespo's arraignment, maybe they need better medication. I don't know. Maybe we need to get people on the right medications. That could be something. Crespo's arraignment is scheduled for October 11th. Rivera Negron's arraignment is scheduled for October 10th. Tapia will be arraigned on October 15th. So his arraignment hasn't even began. These arraignments haven't began on these dates. If they're live in the courtroom, I'll share those live videos and we'll go over those arraignments and see what they say. But I have many more things to talk about tonight. I feel like one thing I want to put in on this subject is that there could be as some type of I would say mediation technique, right? Have an outside agency come in and monitor. Maybe they're employed through prisoners' legal services, but funded by the state. So there's both aspects involved there, and they're both monitoring, but they have no communication with the convicts and no communication with the staff. They can't sit at the staff's desk and mingle with them and become buddy-buddy like the nurses do. None of that. They have to stay separate and monitor. State, listen to me, right? That's what we need to do. So now, right, a breaking news, right? October 2nd, in the Central District of California, there's an indictment with 68 defendants charged, right? And dozens of members and associates of a San Fernando Valley white supremacist gang. Bro, the details involved in this is insane, right? Hold on. Let me make sure everything's cool. Yeah, so the details involved in this, there has to be an informant. There has to be, right? Or many informants. Listen to what it says. Federal and local law enforcement have arrested 42 members and associates of the SFV Peckerwoods, a San Fernando Valley-based white supremacist street gang, on a 76-count federal grand jury indictment alleging they engaged in years-long pattern of racketeering activity that included trafficking of drugs, including fentanyl, illegal firearms, and COVID-19 benefits, and loan fraud, the Justice Department announced today. The indictment unsealed today charges a total of 68 defendants with a score of federal crimes: conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, or RICO Act, conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, distribution of controlled substances, bank fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, aggravated identity theft, possession of firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime, unlawful possession of firearm and ammunition by a felon, a possession of 15 or more unauthorized access devices. The 29 defendants arrested today are expected to be arraigned this afternoon in the United States District Court in downtown Los Angeles prior to today's takedown. 13 defendants were already in custody. During the investigation, law enforcement seized large quantities of illegal firearms and dozens of pounds of fentanyl, methamphetamine, and heroin, according to the indictment. The Peckerwoods' violent white supremacist ideology and wide-ranging criminal activity pose a grave menace to our community, end quote. The United States Attorney Martin Estrada said, by allegedly engaging in everything from drug trafficking to firearms offenses to identity theft to COVID-19 fraud, and through their alliance with a neo-Nazi prison gang, the Peckerwoods are a destructive force in prosecuting the members of the Peckerwoods criminal organization. Our office is carrying out its mission to protect the public from the most dangerous threats. The Justice Department has dealt a decisive blow to the San Fernando Valley SFV Peckerwoods, a violent white supremacist gang that we charge is responsible for trafficking deadly fentanyl and other drugs, committing robberies and perpetrating financial fraud to fund both their criminal enterprise and that of the Aryan Brotherhood, said Attorney General Merrick B. Garland. With today's charges and arrests, the Justice Department, together with our state, local, and federal partners, targeted the heart of this gang's operations, and we will continue to zero in on the criminal enterprises that endanger our communities. This operation, led by our Joint Terrorism Task Force, it means they got terrorism task force working on these, home-based. I figured that they would have Homeland Security or something, but they do. They have terrorist task force. So disrupted a racially motivated, violent extremist group who engaged in a wide ranging of criminal activity, said Akel Davis, assistant director in charge of the FBI Los Angeles field office. This case strikes at the heart of our collective mission to rid our communities of the corrosive elements that fuel violence and extremism that greatly impact our way of life. The FBI, along with federal, state, and local partners, remain strongly committed to working every day to make sure the people of the Southland remain safe. Now it's going to go into details about what happened in the gang. Just hold on. Let's read the indictment part. The San Fernando Valley Peckerwoods, the Aryan Brotherhood, and their associates are fused by one thing: hatred. Matthew Allen, Special Agent in Charge, DEA, Los Angeles Field Division. It appears, however, that the business of hate was not enough for them. Driven by greed, they engaged in other crimes, including drug distribution, pushing out deadly fentanyl onto our streets, Operating from corners of the San Fernando Valley, they conducted their crimes within and beyond the 818 community. Today's large-scale indictments and arrests Today's large-scale indictments and arrests reflect our relentless commitment to dismantling criminal organizations that continue to harm our communities. I just want to make sure everything good. According to the indictment that a grand jury returned on September 26th, the Peckerwoods is a street gang based in communities in the San Fernando Valley whose members engage in a wide variety of criminal activity, including drug trafficking, violent crime, and fraud. As a white supremacist gang, the Peckerwoods at times take orders from the Aryan Brotherhood, California's dominant prison-based white supremacist gang, and maintains an alliance with the Mexican Mafia prison gang, which controls most Latino street gangs in California. The Peckerwoods use Nazi tattoos, graffiti, and iconography to indicate their violent white supremacy extremist ideology. These tattoos and iconography include swastikas and the symbol 88 used by violent white supremacists as a code for Heil Hitler, and images of Nazi aircraft. Members and associates of the gang use social media to share information with each other about their criminal activity and gang rules. Warning there, don't use social media if you're going to run a criminal organization to share your information. Doesn't really make sense. To identify gang members in good standing and to target people who broke the gang's rules. The social media use included a members-only Facebook group. Ooh, they must have really thought about that one. Direct messages between the gang's members and associates. From at least December 2016 to September 2024, Peckerwoods members conducted and participated in the affairs of their criminal enterprise by engaging in violence and threats of violence to preserve and expand the gang's criminal operations, which promoted a climate of fear. Members and associates of the gang illegally maintained firearms and ammunition in furtherance of these aims. To generate revenue for the gang, its members trafficked narcotics, including fentanyl, heroin, and methamphetamine. Specifically, lead defendant Claire Patricia Haviland, 62, of Chatsworth, and co-defendants Brian Glenn Euclid, 53, of Chatsworth, and Brian Brewer, 38, of North Hollywood, maintained and oversaw drug stash houses where large quantities of fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamine, and other drugs were stored prior to distribution. Haviland and Euclid allegedly mailed illegal drugs to customers using applications such as Zelle and Cash App to receive money from drug buyers and send money to their drug sources. It gets to like where they got stuff into the prison and all that. So they also generated revenue via robberies and financial fraud and participated in identity theft schemes. For example, from at least March 2021 to July 2023, defendant Sean Craig Gluckman, 35, of Encino, Maria Ann James, 30, of Canyon County, and others submitted false and fraudulent applications for the Paycheck Protection Program, which was designed to aid businesses harmed by the economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic. The defendants, posing as sole proprietors, signed fraudulent PPP loan applications on behalf of individuals incarcerated in California state prisons and collected a portion of fraudulent obtained proceeds from co-conspirators as payment for their assistance. Gluckman, in April 2021, submitted an application that falsely stated he was self-employed artist/writer with a gross income of nearly $250,000. Later that month, he obtained a PPP loan in the amount of $20,833. In a separate scheme, Gluckman submitted fraudulent unemployment insurance applications in the names of other people in the California Employment Development Department to fraudulently obtain jobless benefits. The proliferation of gang-related organized crime deteriorates the core of our society, said the Los Angeles Police Chief Dominic Choi. Taking guns out of the hands of gang members and drugs from our streets is just one more step towards reducing this deterioration. Today is yet another example of how local, regional, and federal law enforcement with a matched dedication are working together to investigate, apprehend, and prosecute criminals. When criminal organizations cross jurisdictional lines, it makes conducting investigations and subsequent prosecutions much more difficult, said Ventura County Sheriff Jim Freihoff. Having our federal law enforcement partners involved in such cases greatly enhances our ability to protect not only the citizens of our county, but also that of our region of the state. The DOL-OIG will continue to allocate investigative resources to support our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners in the fight against organized crime, particularly when it involves matters within our jurisdiction, said Quentin Hayden, special agent in charge of the United States Department of Labor of Inspector General Western's region. This investigation reinforces our commitment to protecting integrity, blah, blah, blah. If convicted, the defendant would face a statutory maximum sentence of life in federal prison. The FBI, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Los Angeles Police Department, and the Ventura County Sheriff's Office are investigating this matter. Wow, they combined to do this. That's rare. Other law enforcement agencies that assisted in today's takedown are the Simi Valley Police Department, California Highway Patrol, Glendale Police Department, the Burbank Police Department, Redondo Beach Police Department, the Beverly Hills Police Department, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the United States Marshal Service, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, Police, the United States Department of Labor, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the Los Angeles County Probation Department, the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services. Wow, a lot of kids probably taken away. That's the saddest part, is that so many people are affected by this. The Pasadena Fire Department, United States Customs and Border Protection, the IRS Criminal Investigation. United States Attorney Rima M. El Amami of the Terrorism and Export Crime Section in Jared blah, 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 whatever, fuck all of them. And May 17, 2021, the Attorney General established the COVID-19 Fraud Enforcement Task Force to marshal the resources and Department of Justice partnership. On September 15th, the Attorney General selected U.S. attorneys' offices for the Central and Eastern Districts of California to jointly head one of the 3 national COVID-19 fraud strikes. And that's how it's done, fucking ladies and gentlemen. That's just a huge indictment. 68 people, 42 members of the neo-Nazi members that are, connected to Mexican mafia. They got so many different connections going on here. And I've read it all, so it's like a huge spider web. Maybe we could share more of it next time. Yeah, exactly. They're looking for shit now. I mean, at this point, they got so many different things. It's like they could just pick stuff and throw it in that indictment. You know what I mean? So let me get to the next topic, which you guys are gonna be. I'll answer some stuff on this chat real quick, just to, because I love all you guys. Without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. Let me go to the top. Wow, Bats, $10, brother. Thank you, bro. Absolutely. Thank you. Hi, Mom. Anyone who don't wake up on it will fall victim. Yes, the W number. Respect, bro. Richard Dowling. Respect. Grace. Respect. I love you. Stevie, what's up, brother? You're a good voice to have on here. You know what I mean? You should be on here with me talking about this. Hi, Linda. Yes, that's my mom. So my fault. Tap the like button, everybody, respectfully, for real. Let me start on that. So hit the hearts and hundreds for sure. Tablets are turned in every night so you can be charged. So that's bullshit. So the tablets that they give out to the population, those tablets are given back to the COs at night. So those tablets are off limits. You can't fuck with those tablets. They'll know. Right away, they'll know. They check them every single night. Those tablets are bigger. They're a little bit bigger, but they do turn them in every night. But most people buy their own tablets, but everybody is afforded those tablets that come from the state. But the tablets that come from the state are the tablets with the programs on them. Our personal tablets don't have all that stuff on there. So those tablets that come from the state, if you so want them and sign up for them, you do get one, and you are afforded programs, rehabilitation services, reentry services, language services, all that. So that's the stuff that you get from that. Yeah, exactly. It was total bullshit about the weapons for sure. Yes, I got the whole bar listening. Tell the whole bar in Chicago I said hello. I love you guys. I wish I knew some bar quotes I could throw at you, but I really just don't. Not that type of guy. I spent my whole life in prison, so I'm not, hip to the bar lingo. The only thing I know about a bar is from that movie. He's like, make like a tree and fucking leave, right? But don't do that, right? Yes, Jen, hello. How are you guys? Yes, they will all hit the like button, won't they? Everybody at that bar, you hit that like button for me. ND Irish, what's going on, player? one of my main supporters, great guy, awesome dude, hugely respectful of the channel, great guy. I just love him, man. He's done so much for me. I mean, a lot of this wouldn't happen without him. So, ND Irish, big shout out. My mom, look at this. She's one that will know, right? She's been visiting me and my brother in this prison system since we were tiny little children. I know it's real. I've been visiting mass state prisons for almost 20 years. And if I complained, I got calls being nicely, but came down harder on my boys. So I had to stop. So every time she complained, they started fucking with us. And that's a fact. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't call and complain to the governor's office and the commissioner's office. Those are the people to complain to. But they do fuck with you. If you call up worried about your people, sometimes they get thrown on suicide watch for no reason, with nothing but naked. So that's what you get for trying to help your family out. Yeah, there needs to be more protection for convicts. It needs to be protection for both. Let's not get that twisted. If it's a good environment for them, it's a good environment for us. It goes hand in hand, and it really fucking does, dude. Right? And the Irish, bro, you guys are, thank you, bro. You guys are awesome, man. I appreciate it, bro. Oh, so Bats out and about. Big supporter of the channel, also has written a letter to Fox News about this situation. He's also a writer for Newsbreak and a supporter of my channel, and he's written many letters about this situation to Newsbreak. You guys should go follow him on Newsbreak, and I know there's a couple other platforms that he writes for. Many prayers for those guys. Everybody who's in the prison, we pray for them. May God bless their hearts and, you know, give understanding and wisdom to the COs. Allow them to see our side of the story, for real. That's what we really need. Everybody in that prison to pray that the COs receive our side of the story willingly and openly, right? So Bats ran with the Peckerwoods. I mean, I'm not big into all that just because I don't have any racial tendencies one way or the other. And I'm not saying that they're racist. I'm just saying that they do promote that agenda a lot. And there's a lot of people involved that are. And that's just not the way I'm leaning. But, you know, much respect to anybody in prison who's trying to just protect themselves and do what they have to do to survive. And that's unfortunately a lot of what they have to do to survive is, you know, run with people that, you know, I guess, I've only been the independent type, and I always thought like I could do it by myself. I don't need nobody type of thing, but that's not how it is in every prison. You need to run with a gang in a lot of these prisons, or else you will get chewed the fuck up, right? And your race runs with your race no matter where you are. So it's basically you're in a gang no matter what. You're with your race is your gang. Except for like blacks are broken up a lot, and that's unfortunate because they have great dudes. They broken up because they're all different street gangs, all different gangs, and a lot of the Spanish guys as well. But you know, they do stick together nonetheless. When it comes to us versus the COs, we all stick together. So we're all in the same playing field when it comes to that. This kid knows what he's talking about. Okay. This kid knows what he's talking about, and it helps that even though he's done all that time, he gets the point across in an intelligent, informative way. And the cons are grateful for a guy like this. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that big time, bro. They are just looking to throw anything at him, bro. Charlie, what's going on, player? Been a long time. Actually, no, it hasn't been a long time. Actually, you watch all my videos, so mother's love cannot compare. Fact. Yes, slow red eyes. How are you, brother? I always see you in my chat, man. I don't know who you are, but you're a good dude, bro. So let's get on to the next topic so that we can share all what I got going on, bro. The next thing I got going on for you is a crazy cover up, bro. It's absolutely insane. We're going to go over that real quick. Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate that there needs to be a stance one way or the other, but there does, because the COs are totally against us. So we cannot be for them and for us. We need to be totally against them, and they make it like that. Whereas if they included us and we're all inclusive in this plan, they could have our support. They could, but they choose not to. That's the purpose. That's the point behind that. All right, right here. Boom. Now this one, you're going to be a little shocked about it. And I don't want to play the entire video because it's a long one, but it is super crazy and super important and super controversial. And I know that you guys would watch the whole thing if I wasn't sharing it. So maybe you'll go watch it after, but we'll watch as much as we can now Big shout out to this guy for putting this out here. Seems a little piecemeal right now. Like he's just like shooting shit at a phone, but he's got his shit together. Trust me, he's got a lot of followers. And this is over 1.5 million views right now. So volume, okay. Hold on. Oh, so is there no volume on this? Is there no volume on this? Guys, there's no sound. Okay. All right, let me reshare it real quick because it says to reshare. Stop sharing. Okay. Let me reshare, guys. See if it goes on. If not, then I will share the link in the chat, and then you guys could go watch that after. But it's crazy, dude. Well, I hope this plays, bro. Let me know now. Hold on.
Watch this.
We picked up a
Put it right here.
flight of pediatric medical supplies that were brought in and are going to North Asheville. We were sitting in the private portion of the airport.
What about now, guys?
And we got to overhear an awful lot. The Army pilots, the Navy pilots, hospital representatives. There was a lot of chatter. While we were there, a private jet landed and 4 FEMA representatives got off. Four people off of a private jet. Come to find out, and you're not going to hear this, so let me tell you. Come to find out, Mission Hospital was told, a private hospital, that they are going to go ahead and be the morgue center for body recovery. All of the Army Chinook helicopters you're seeing flying overhead, they are doing body recovery. FEMA said, and you can take this as a direct quote, said that they are too tied up at the border to send any more representatives. Yeah, at the border. So anyhow, I guess border control trumps whatever's going on here. So they told Mission Hospital they are not sending refrigerated trucks so that they can stack the bodies up. And we also overheard that whatever fatality numbers you are hearing, and this is a quote, go ahead and add a couple of zeros. So FEMA's too busy with the border. A private hospital and the Army are going to take.
Let's just be clear. They said 1 million bodies. So if they're saying add a couple fucking zeros, like what are we talking about here? And people are reporting bodies washing up on their front lawns and washing down rivers like something out of a fucking World War Z video, bro. I'm not even lying. Wait till you see this shit.
Take over body recovery, and private individuals with their private helicopters and their private planes are the ones who are flying in supplies. I was at Hangar 10. I was picking up supplies. There was a stack for the Cajun Navy. There was a stack that looked like it was ASPCA. These are all being sent by private individuals. FEMA is doing nothing. Go ahead and share that.
So this next one is even more weird, and there's just things that just don't add up. And check out what he has to say.
Carolina, you deserve to hear this. I'm a truck driver, all right? I have a 53-foot step deck. I've been trucking for about 2.5 years.
There's no sound again? No sound again. All right. Yeah, dude, it's nuts. Is everybody hearing no sound? Should I keep playing this or reshare it again? We stop sharing and just do it. Fuck me, dude. That's what I hate about StreamYard, because it's always got fucking flaws in it, dude. It's like can't just get a solid StreamYard run, bro. I'm gonna have to complain to fucking StreamYard. Fuck you, StreamYard. I hate you.
Years. I have a YouTube channel. You can verify that on Baby Lion Hotshot. Usually in a disastrous situation,
Good now?
it is payday for truckers. We look for that hurricane. We look for that ice storm. There's generators coming to you. There's stuff coming out of military bases. There's excavators, skid steers, bulldozers, tree trimming equipment, pumps, like water pumps to pump water out of places that have been flooded. There's no loads on the load board coming to you within 125 miles of Asheville. It's called Truck Stop. This is where I find all my loads. Chicago, Illinois, up at the top. Within 250 miles of Chicago is where
he says loads an awful lot, right? It's almost like he's being like weird about it. Loads. I got loads everywhere. Loads.
I'm gonna pick up. The second is the destination. So it goes origin, destination. Watch. See? Drop off location. Let's do city. North Carolina. Click it. Boom. All right. These are all $1.40 a mile loads, $1.39. That was posted yesterday. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing. These are loads that you wouldn't even, nobody's taking them. They're just on the load board. They've been on there since yesterday. You can see, right? Let's type in a different city. That's from Chicago. Maybe Tennessee, maybe Nashville is closer, and they'd send resources from Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee, within 250 miles of Nashville, to Asheville, North Carolina, within 125 miles. Let's see, that's it. That's all the loads. That's all the loads that are 28,000 pounds. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, what the hell is going on here? I had brokers call me and tell me, Stu, have you seen any loads going to Asheville or like anywhere around the Carolinas, South Carolina, Georgia? Is there any like FEMA loads? There's none. Zero. He's been a broker for 6 years. And he's talking to other brokers. They're saying the same thing. What's going on, guys?
Where was the transparency in any of this? There was none. And now they're trying to cover it up. They're caught. And now they're starting to launch congressional inquiries on where is all the aid? Why was it stopped? Why was it halted? I've told you in the videos prior to this why it was halted. And because of the rural areas that it's in, they thought they were going to be able to cover it up. And the internet and everybody that just banded together and sent stuff on Twitter. You can follow me at Jack Motley Live on Twitter. They said, you know, we've had enough, and here's the truth. And the media has spun it, and they're saying that everything was done that could be done. That's not true. I've proved to you the government has the ability to fix this. They could have provided aid immediately, and they have not. Hold these politicians accountable. I mean, we're in a situation right now where this level being.
I just don't care about what he says. I want to hear the other people. Hold on. Boom. So we can hear as much as we can. Dude, there's some crazy shit, bro. Listen to what this idiot says, bro. Oh my God. Wait till you hear what fucking dude. Oh my God. The
government could call in and fix this situation. It was boggling. Just yesterday, they interviewed President Biden, and here's what he said.
What does the storm zone need, Mr. President?
Okay.
What are the states of the storm zone? What do they need after what you saw today?
Oh, in the storm zone?
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about. They're getting everything they need. And they're very happy across the board.
He didn't even know which storm. I mean, to people like us in the South, these storms destroyed lives on the Gulf Coast of Florida, all the way up Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. People's homes are gone. Everything they have in this world is devastated. And now we're seeing the wholesalers come in asking to buy their properties, pennies on the dollar. The corporations are going to come in and try to get their lands for penny on the dollar, many of which they inherited. And when you're staring at complete catastrophic event, you're wondering, like, do I just sell and move out? Please don't. Please don't allow them to take your properties, pennies on the dollar. Ask questions. Go down these rabbit holes of why are they wanting to be here. The ore in the North Carolina mountains is worth a crazy amount of money. Don't take my word for it. Start Googling. Where's all this quartz going? Where's all this lithium going? Why do they want to mine it? What kind of mines are coming in here? And what does it have to do with Taiwan?
So they have an interview with someone, right, that they play next about the helicopters. Wait till you hear what, dude, it's just it's just insane how deep this goes, bro. Like, that's why I'm playing this right now, because typically, like, this was about the SEALs. I seen this, I'm like, oh, hell no, bro. Hell no. Listen to this.
What does it have to do with chip making, semiconductor making? There is a big market for the area of Asheville, just north of it, west of it, east of it. These mountains are worth a fortune, and they're going to try to buy them for pennies on the dollar. Make sure everybody around you, y'all understand there's a reason why there's roadblocks of this aid.
A woman and her husband left their home, came back the next day and found they had 15 cats, 5 dogs, and a father-in-law, and found them all dead except for 4 cats. And the story was hard to hear. But it's the look in her eyes that I can't forget. Last night, somebody was at the river and just looking at the destruction and cars upside down, and saw Halloween costumes floating down our river, and then she saw faces and realized they were.
This woman's very dramatic, right? But if you look into that debris on the river, right? Look at it. It all ended up in the river, and there's mad dead bodies in there, bro. They said over 1 million people died. How the fucking hell did that happen, right? Did they not get warned? Was there, like, I don't get it, dude, right? And then they're trying to government take over this entire area, like, buying, like he said, pennies on the dollar, just scraping them dry for their houses. So not only do they lose everything and their neighbors and their family, but now they're going to get smoke for their house too, because they have nothing else to do and nowhere to go, right? And nowhere to shop and nowhere to, like, buy clothes or food. So it's like, what do? Do you sell your house? Do you move? You kind of forced. You're in a bad place. But dude, it gets even crazier, dude. This guy made a good video.
Weren't costumes. She said, I've seen bodies and I'm not okay with that. And then somebody called and said, when is somebody going to come collect all the bodies that have piled up along the embankment of the river? And then a man called saying, I need 911 at my house. And somebody said, why? Are you okay?
Look at the river.
And he said, yes, I'm okay. But I opened my front door, and there are several bodies in my front yard.
Right. What do you guys think? This is some type of, like, because Blair Witch, I mean, that was like really good fake. I almost thought it was real when I was a kid, but this looks real to me, bro. I don't know. Like, look at that, dude. Look at the destruction, bro. But why are the trees all still standing? That's what doesn't make sense. Why is all those houses destroyed along the river, and then all the trees are just perfectly fine, and then the wires are up on the telephone wires are still up? It doesn't make sense. It's kind of an odd scene, right?
This is stuff I'm having a hard time with, because I want to make it better for everybody, and I can't do anything. So anyway, these tears aren't about us, and I didn't mean to cry, but I can't talk about this without this.
There was a hurricane down in the Helene. It's a Hurricane Helene, right? So I think it's like Texas or whatever, right? And there's been they say 1 million deaths. I don't know how much I believe that, but then one of the people on the inside who was talking unbeknownst around people who heard him and recorded it, saying that we don't have enough people or money or resources to send helicopters. We don't have the people to take away from the border in order to clean up this mess and clean up the bodies. So private companies are sending helicopters, like people with private helicopters are flying over there to collect the dead bodies. And then they're sending freezer trucks, like ice cream trucks, right? They're driving ice cream trucks over to collect the dead bodies. These are private companies, not FEMA, not any of that. FEMA's at the border, right? Doing something at the border. So there's a couple of different like aspects of this, right? So the cover up is getting crazy. So now it's political. So the left is trying to deny it and say like, no, that's nothing. And their numbers are way below what their actual numbers are. So they're saying, you know, so many people died, but really the people who are in there are saying add a couple zeros to that. So it's a major disaster. And FEMA is lying and saying they're not, you know, they're covering it. Those are their helicopters. They literally went in the public eye and said, those are our helicopters. What's her face? The woman there running for president, the black chick. Wow, I'm sorry. I'm like brain farting right now. You guys know her name, dude, right? The fucking the woman. You know what? I'm just gonna play a fucking video while I remember, dude. Oh my god.
And I'm sure because the emotional stress that we're under right now is.
So Kamala Harris got up in front of the entire world and said, you know, that they're sending FEMA, they're sending supplies and help and healthcare and helicopters, and you know, the freezer trucks are not for bodies. She said they're not for bodies. But then you got people who are witnessing them collect the bodies and pile them into these trucks. So it's like a crazy fucking cover up, bro. And she's lying about it, which is the craziest part. And I don't understand why they would want to lie about it. But let me get past the crying lady because she's kind of getting annoying to me. All right. So this lady's got something to say, right? Listen.
Notification from TEMA. I'm guessing that's FEMA for Tennessee. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's supposed to be the disaster relief people, but they were like, do not donate your time. We don't want you to donate time unless we ask for you. And we don't want you to donate stuff to other people. You need to just donate money and stuff to us and get your instructions from us and listen to us. What? And then they said yesterday, we don't go into areas that the roads are not easily accessible. What? You are the disaster relief people. Like, that is your job, to go into the areas that are hit by disaster and provide relief, not to just go to the easy area and sit and wait for the people that are in the disaster area to be able to come to you. The roads that we do have were cleared by the locals, and you have to have trucks and stuff to be able to get through there. Like, it's just beyond me. So, and you have us all messed up. If you think you're going to come here and bark orders at us and then expect the people just to give you the money and us trust that you're going to try to take care of us when you don't go into areas that are not easily accessible. What? Like, this is Cott County, girl. So donate to our local churches because they will make sure that the people that are need it will get it. And you need to just, while we appreciate what help you're trying to provide, I don't think you understood the assignment, because it's not to just go to one location in hopes that the people in the disaster area can make it to you. So just sit back and watch, and we'll show you how it's done, but we're not going to stop. So please and thank you.
And the truth is coming to light. And it is baffling how bad this stuff is not being reported. The misinformation is crazy. And the only real place you can find some real authentic information is from the people and their cell phones sharing it on social media. Just regular people like me and you. The looting, the death toll is way worse than we actually thought it was going to be. And nobody could have planned for really any of it.
Help operations. First of all, some really dumb rules have been implemented, y'all. One of our big shelters and distribution centers, the health department told the refugees, those that are lost everything, that they could not use the shelter showers without flip-flops.
Yeah.
Dumbest thing I have ever heard. These people have lost everything, and you won't let them take a hot shower without flip-flops? Oh, well, when I got that call, thank you, friends, and thank you to Larry and Concord who hooked us up at the nail supply place, because we sent 18,000 pairs of flip-flops up to the shelter this morning, where one of my girlfriends took a trailer up so people can take a shower. Those are the kind of rules that don't help in a time of absolute survival disaster. That's number one. Number two is, if you're reading about FEMA online and wondering if they're really a pain in the tail, I can confirm it is true. I tried to send in a pallet of chainsaws 2 days ago, and we had to divert it somewhere away from FEMA because they wanted to confiscate. FEMA, those ain't your chainsaws. Our mountain people are much better with them than y'all are, although I'm sure there's some very fine people that work for FEMA. I'm talking about the organization. But those saws need to be in the hands of the guys on ATVs down in the holler and up on these trees where there are blocked roads where we can get access to our neighbors who are still stranded. This is not a one-time little 5-minute storm. There are people that we have not gotten to yet, and we want to get to them. That's why those chainsaws are up there. So fine, we're going to go around you, FEMA, and don't try to get in the way of North Carolina mountain people and when we are trying to take care of each other. You should also know I had a shipment trying to go in last night that got stopped because somebody wanted to inventory it. So we diverted that one elsewhere to get it into the hands of an apartment complex of seniors that have been neglected. So thank you.
To go on to that, there is story after story, video after video where civilians have taken their own equipment to hand out chainsaws, to hand out food, water, only to have it intercepted by FEMA or threats of arrest to, hey, you can't go in there. Then they take the equipment and they put it in some storage facility, and it probably never even gets distributed. Look, I went on the White House website to look what kind of aid that was put down like 2-3 days ago. And they said 1,000 soldiers were headed to help with aid. When you dissect 1,000 soldiers down to how many are actually out there on ground handing equipment out and bullets, beans, and Band-Aids and food and water and everything, out of 1,000, you might have 150, 100 actually out there doing something. The rest is support. Same way with FEMA, same way with all these people. And many of these government employees are taking up the hotel rooms and the places to stay that the people that actually need the help can't even get in to stay. This is bigger than the individual level. This is about land grabs. This is about ore. This is about mining. This is about large corporations coming in to take your land. And it seems like blow after blow, they are putting roadblock after roadblock in front of everybody that lives in North Carolina, around the Asheville area. It seems like they don't want the aid to get there. It was such a slow process. And I've detailed this in my last 2 videos on this issue, what the Army could have done, what politicians could have done, and they have not done it. The resources are there. They've just been misappropriated. They've been turned to the wrong places. The checks have gone to places they shouldn't have gone. And now this is about bailouts. This is about government asking for more money from the politicians, it's from the lawmakers, from Congress to say, hey, we need more money.
Sounds familiar. It's like in every fucking facet of a disaster, you got the government saying, we need money for more security. We need money for more FEMA. We need this. We need that. But they're making a killing off of our fucking depressions, dude. Where they are, bro. Right? And that's not my computer making that scratchy noise. That's his video.
Misappropriated it, and now they want more money. They're going to come back and say, we need more money for FEMA. It's just not enough money. And that's what politicians always do. They always ask for more money to solve the problem instead of solving the problem. Check out this right here that was on the news.
Is also to make sure that the communities who are potentially impacted are prepared as well. And it's not just hurricanes and wildfires, also extreme heat, which certainly some parts of the United States are already experiencing.
Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas sounding the alarm on FEMA funding right after the devastation of Hurricane Helene. Listen.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
This all comes as the Biden-Harris administration spent over $1 billion from a FEMA program on services for migrants.
Got to really start saying enough is enough. We're tired of this. We're going to change out the entire crowd in Washington, in the local state legislatures, because this is enough. I'm tired of watching U.S. citizens that paid their taxes not get any aid. Look, they could have tracked it in on mules, which they're doing right now. The government could have done this if the trucks weren't available. Heck, the Viet Cong did it on bicycles. The Taliban did it on motorcycles. Like, you can get aid in there, and we could have gotten in to help these people. We could have walked it in if we had to. But the fact that everybody sat around for days, a week now, and there was nothing being done should crawl your stomach. On the screen here, I'm going to put the units that are of the United States Army that is just 3-4 hours away. You've got the Marine Corps, you got Fort Bragg, you got many other little forts all around North Carolina that are just a few hours away. The 82nd Airborne, any of those divisions could have rallied up, they could have staged the night before, and they could have been in Asheville the next morning, okay? And they could have had a logistical convoy miles long. They could have removed those roads in a week. You would already have aid and roads established in Asheville if they truly wanted to. Remember back in the day, and I've talked about this at length, when they would airlift entire battalions into the jungles of Vietnam, when Pathfinders would go in and make landing zones all over Afghanistan and Iraq. Hey, trust me, a lot of us Global War on Terrorism vets were there. A lot of us, we did it. Comment down below if you were there and you remember how they did this. When there was so many Black Hawks or Huey helicopters that would almost darken the sky, that would literally make dust storms in the desert because there was so many of them. This kind of stuff just eats me up. You know, there was a time when you saw the federal government coming or the flag flying, that there were men of honor coming to help you. When you saw on the horizon that help was coming, there was not a shadow of a doubt in your mind. This was going to be our saving grace. You knew that help was coming when you saw that on the horizon. Now you got to wonder, are they going to steal our materials we're trying to give to those in need? Are they going to give us a ticket? Are they going to arrest us for helping? Are they going to require us to have a permit to help? Are they going to restrict our movement? Are they going to confiscate our stuff? I mean, what are we talking about? You know, like, it's just video after video of misinformation. We're coming into election season. We are in election season. We're in October. The next month is going to be a really problem time for voters in these red states. And you got to start asking yourself, could that be a reason that for all these people getting to the ballots and actually be casting their ballots is going to be hard? There's not going to be power in a lot of these places. Their homes are gone. Mobility and transportation is going to be horrific. And winter is coming in. It's going to get cold. It's going to get colder in these areas in the next, growing month. Okay. October here in Florida is always cold at Halloween, and this is where they're going to be. And you really got to say, are these children, these elderly in the mountains, are they going to be able to survive this? And the federal government, heck, Biden didn't even know that there was a hurricane. And that is just, enough is enough.
Word.
Look, a lot of these places are not passable. Have you ever been to?
So that's the part that really gets me, is that we have a president that is either so dumb or senile. He didn't know we were talking about a hurricane or a storm that killed 1 million fucking people. Dude, what is going on, bro? Like, for real. And I remember when Hurricane Katrina happened, there were soldiers and boots on the ground. Even though there was a lot of madness going on, it is Louisiana, and there's a lot of gangsters down there. So that type of shit does happen. But, man, there was more support there than there is here, and that was still wild.
Pigeon 4.
I can only imagine those moonshiners up in the mountains are going to be getting crazy drunk and going nuts.
The Appalachian Mountains, any of these places. When you go up there, there's no way in, no way out. I mean, we're talking tiny roads, okay? They bend, they turn. It's not like you just get in and out. And those that leave, they're worried about their places getting looted. They're worried about their animals. They're worried about the places they were born not being able to get back to them, or they might not be there when they get back. There's no law in these places. And when you see these places, you realize you're your own law. That's why the Second Amendment is so big in disasters, okay? The looters, the marauders, the crime, the police are not coming. If you live in these areas, you better protect your own. This is what the Second Amendment is for. You, your neighbors, your friends, your family, you protect what you've got. Because if you do not,
somebody... they want to take our guns away, right? So what? Then when this happens, the people that do have guns that didn't give them up because they don't give a fuck about the law are gonna come and just have total control. They have the upper hand all the way, right? I don't think so, bro. I think everybody should have a gun. Everybody, except for me, because I'm on probation and I would never do any such thing.
I will come and take it from you. If you call 911, they won't answer. They'll show up in 5, 10, 2 weeks, 10 days, and then they'll do a police report. Meanwhile, your stuff's gone, your food's gone, your generator's gone, your gasoline's gone, your diapers and food for your family are gone. And the sad part of that, some of it is the people that don't have anything are taken from those that do. And you know, people do very weird stuff when they're hungry and their kids are hungry, and they will turn on each other. So it is up to you in these areas, these SHTF events. When it's
gonna be like Lord of the Flies down there, dude. Right? I could only imagine without any fucking support, soldiers, police. The police are going through the same thing. They live in that area, so their houses are destroyed. Their property's gone. I mean, they're not driving around their cruiser on their fucking nice roads they got. They're destroyed. Everything's gone. They need vehicles. They need mounted vehicles to patrol those lands. They're going to need, water supplies. It's in the mountains. Like you said, you can't pass through. So you're going to need helicopters to bring water and supplies like you drop it in war. Like, this is going to be madness. Wait till you see the news that comes from this one.
It hits the fan. You got to know you have to protect your own. That shotgun, that was grandpa's shotgun, and everybody said, now you shouldn't have because we live in a politically correct world, is your saving grace. It's your life force. It's what's keeping those animals at bay. It's keeping the snakes that are coming out of the holes at bay. Because when it rains for a long period of time, the snakes come out of the hole. Water moccasins are everywhere. Rattlesnakes are everywhere. Looters show up. Okay.
Yeah, that's goes hand in hand all the time. Anyways, right? It's been a good fucking live, guys. These are the issues that we need to talk about and that you guys should share. Everybody should share these videos, right? Because first of all, support a motherfucker who actually gives a fuck and is going to tell you the truth, right? No matter what. Somebody who actually knows and will go through those lengths to find the news that needs to be promoted, baby. Fuck yeah, bro, right? Everybody hit those hearts and hundreds, man. I'm going to play a song on the way out because it's getting a little late and I need to end this stream. I'm going to play more. I'm going to have so many good lives coming up, guys. I have great information for you and I have it all planned out. I'm dropping it, dude, right? It's going to be bang, 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 back to back, right? We're doing this, right? Yes, prayers go out to everybody involved, everybody who's in that disaster, everybody who's going through something wild right now in their personal life here in the United States, anywhere, in the disaster, in the prison, wherever you are. Many prayers to you. Your struggles and your trauma are just as real as the next man's. Even if you're a convict, if you're a cop, or if you're a FEMA disaster worker taking orders, maybe you should go against what your orders are. I don't know. Maybe it's time for insurrection. I don't know. I can't say that, and I will not promote any type of violence, but I can say that we're at a point in our country that Democrats and Republicans are now at war. It's not like we're fighting in the same cabinets together against the righteous cause, and we're just promoting one side, devil's advocate type of thing. It's none of that, right? We're going bumping heads. We're getting deadlocked, and can't be like this. A country cannot run. A house divided will fall. They said it in the friggin' you know what I mean? It's just like that's what it is, bro. A house divided will fall. I can't even talk anymore. I still am kind of sick, so don't hold me accountable for that. I love you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna play a little song on the way out. Please hit the hearts and hundreds. Drop whatever comments you got for me, and let's make it count, bro. I love y'all, bro. So hold up, let me pick one for you. What do you guys want? Some Lucky Luciano, Bye to the World. This sounds appropriate.
Inside of me, come walk me down that path. He said, go my son, I've come on you, this is all your land. This is real, I'm spirit filled, so why should I be fearful? Child of God, you're royalty, these demons can't come near you. When you're living in the light, we fight with love, cause that don't die. I be rooted in Almighty, so be careful, hating on mine. God fight my battles, and he ain't lost one yet. I be killing off my sinful nature, yeah, deny my flesh. Watch my light shine, this is God's plan. He noticed me and blessed me cause I showed him I'm not playing. I said bye to that world and really walked by faith. Then he opened up his arms and poured these blessings on my plate. They try to pay me for a feature, I don't want nothing to do with that world. Man, they really thought I was playing, I don't want nothing to do with that world. Trying to compromise my faith, but I don't want nothing to do with that world. Man, these groupies know I'm married, I don't want nothing to do with that world. I said bye to that world, dying daily to that world. You can't pay me for that world, I'm not friendly with that world. I said bye to that world, dying daily to that world. You can't pay me for that world, I'm not friendly with that world. Man, the Bible told me to choose one, I can't serve two masters. Wide road and a narrow one, only one gon' get you there faster. In conflict with the enemy, so it ain't easy as Christian. Shooting back at the devil's camp, I'm on point and ain't missing. They misguiding our children, been attacking all our youth. Depression and anxiety got suicide through the roof. Living in these dark times, letting kids pick their gender. Wanna lock us up and close the church and advertise that liquor. The common theme of these rap songs is selling dope and killing. And they wonder why these rappers dying and ending up in prison. I ain't scared, I'ma talk to them. I let God provide my wealth. And you old rappers still lying to them. Should be ashamed of yourself. They try to pay me for a feature, I don't want